CIA teaches us that all people are really just a compilation of capabilities, and that when you really want to tap into someone's best, most optimized performance, you have to understand that they already view themselves as this compilation of capabilities. You and I already know all the things that we're interested in, all the things that we've experienced, all the things that we want to do, all of our passions, all of our interests. All people are like that. The problem is that the standard business HR process doesn't approach an individual as if they are a series of skills. They approach individuals as if they are a single skill. That single skill that is the title on your resume, that single skill that is the degree that you carry with you. When you approach somebody as if one skill is more important than all the rest, then they feel the pressure to try to emphasize that skill over anything else. They feel the pressure to try to falsify or fabricate their level of confidence, their level of capability. CIA has taught us how to tap into the maximum of someone's potential by treating them like a holistic set of skills. When businesses and business owners can treat each of their individuals like a combination of skills, two important things happen. First, you unlock loyalty in that person because they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel valued as a complete and whole individual. But the second most important thing is you unlock synergy between the people on your team, because two completely different people are going to have a number of areas where their skills, interests, and backgrounds overlap. And you as the business owner get to capitalize on all the creativity, new ideas, and new energy that come from those people who didn't previously get treated like they were compilations of capabilities. It's easy to think that military operations are completely different than daily business operations, but nothing really could be further from the truth, because daily military operations really are a representation of keeping people alive, keeping people safe, and keeping progress going. That's the same thing that a business has to do in their day-to-day operations as well. So when you start to look at how a military operation really is different from a business operation, it's not about what they do, it's about how they do it. Because the US military has been keeping the US people safe for over 70 years. And militaries around the world, from the UK to Australia, have been keeping their people safe for even longer. So the way that you look at how a business benefits from military operations is by understanding the process, the structure, the prioritization, how resources are deployed, how resources are collected. You look at the pipeline for training. You look at the process for vetting the people in the pipeline for areas and positions of leadership. You look at leadership training and team building. There are so many various dynamic ways that a business can learn from military operations. The number one behavioral indicator that business owners should look for when they're in a negotiation is body language, because a well-trained, acute person will control their mouth. They'll control their words, they'll control their word choice, they'll control their pacing and their volume, but it's very difficult to control your body language. And body language is one of those things that it's difficult to control, and it's also difficult to observe unless you have a little bit of training and sensitivity in what you're actually looking for. As an example, you'll find lots of Instagrams, lots of Reels, lots of YouTube videos out there talking about micro expressions. But in reality, micro expressions don't really have an impact unless you understand the individual's baseline. So most of what you see out there, even in pop media, isn't actually operationally useful when you're sitting across the table from someone who's trying to acquire you, from a new client, from a banker. Instead, you have to be able to understand the macro uses of body language, not the micro expressions of body languages. And that is something that can be trained in just a matter of minutes, not just to you and to your sales team, but to everybody in your business, so that it increases not only how you negotiate, but it increases how you cooperate and communicate within your own organization. Pressure is a very real thing, and business owners and business leaders feel pressure of various types in various areas all the time. CIA operations are the same way. Sometimes you're at risk of your life, sometimes you're at risk of spoiling a secret, sometimes you're at risk of missing a plane. In all of those situations, the way that you actually deal with pressure is pretty much the same process. The foundation of that process is based in a simple question. Is this a perceived risk or is this a real risk? Perceived risk and real risk are two subcategories of the concept of risk, which most people assume is just one thing. Perceived risk is all those risks that you think might happen, whereas real risks are the probability of a risk actually taking place. So when you're in a high stakes situation, a high pressure situation, and you're worried about all the things that could go wrong, simply understanding the difference between perceived and real risk helps you break down what are the things that you're worried about but are low probability, and what are the things that are high probability, and what are the true stakes that they have to play in the situation. Understanding the difference between perceived risk and real risk changes everything from who you hire to how quickly you make your decisions to what decisions you make at the end of the day. Because pressure is not just one consistent thing. It is a guarantee in day-to-day operations, but it doesn't have to be a guaranteed stressor on you. The number one thing I hope audiences take away is just one instantaneously actionable nugget of information, just one lesson that they can take and use to improve and make progress right now, today. I don't want people to think of me as entertaining. I don't want people to think of me as inspiring. I don't want people to think of me as motivational. I want people to think of me because they use the skills that CIA gave me, that I am passing on to them every day to succeed, to win, to dominate, so that they can come back and learn more and go out and continue to change the world that we live in every day.